Hello YouTube, the Dr. Movies here, back again, once again, bringing you my top 10 movies, this time the worst of them. So, let's talk about them. My top 10, starting with number 10, worst movies of 2010. A movie I thought that was going to be good was Dracula Untold with Luke Evans. I went to see this movie. Now, before I talk about these movies, let me let you know that some of these movies that I've seen didn't get a chance to review them, so I apologize for that, because I had a lot of other things to do, so I couldn't review them. But number 10 was Dracula Untold. I went into this movie thinking this movie's going to be great. I love Batman. I love anything with bats. Anything. Dracula is basically the king of vampires. He's one of the best. And I thought this was going to be a new take on him, bringing him back into this century. And I felt it was kind of messy at a certain point. They butchered his origin story a lot, and I didn't really understand certain elements of what this movie was trying to go for. It was trying to be more like a King Arthur kind of thing with Dracula. It just didn't make any sense to me. So that's number 10 for me right there. Number 9, I thought it was a stupid movie to even make. But, you know, certain movies, they do make money, but I wanted to check it out anyway. It was Ouija. I'm probably pronouncing it wrong. It's that board game that they bring the spirits and a group of kids, they play it, and then spirits start to come. This movie basically put me to sleep. I didn't even understand this movie. It was so boring. The dialogue in this movie was so cheesy. Couldn't got any random person on the street to make this movie. I'm giving this movie a 0. This movie is not good, not scary. There's jump scares in this movie. Oh my god. Not at all. It just goes, boo. I'm like, really? That's what you got? Come on, seriously? The next one, at number 8, The Legend of Hercules. The Legend of Hercules is not the one with The Rock. This is another one. This is the one that came out in February. Kellen Lutz, he's from Twilight, and I didn't know what to think of this movie. I mean, I went to see this movie, and I'm like, okay, Hercules, makes sense. He didn't even look like Hercules. I mean, a guy with he was basically skinny. I mean, Hercules is supposed to be a big guy. He's supposed to be strong. Of course, that's why you got The Rock. And the other one, I mean, this one, I mean, any villager could have beat him up. I mean, this guy looked like, oh, sure, he can throw rocks and whatever, but he didn't feel like Hercules. And the way the choreographics where they fought with weapons, it was just a mess. I feel like they were just dragging along with their dancing, the way they fight. I couldn't. I gave that movie a 3. Just a mess. Number 7, I thought it was gonna be cool because I had the director and the producer of the Underworld movies, and those are cool movies. Was I, Frankenstein? It's a story about this guy who's basically half man, half monster, and he goes out to fight things. And this was another mess. I felt that the movie itself was just trying to be a ripoff of Hellboy. And Hellboy is a good movie. I mean, but the CGI was so bad in this movie. I'm looking at, I'm like, that's what you got? Really? You know the technology this day, and you're bringing us this? I gave this movie another 3. This movie was just horrible. I mean, the guy who basically is the main star in this movie, he was Two-Face in The Dark Knight, and he did Bad Los Angeles. I thought it was an okay movie, but come on, really? This movie was just, couldn't understand it. So I gave that movie a 3. Number 6 is a movie I'm getting tired of seeing these movies anyway, but whatever. It still makes money for some strange reason. Paranormal Activity, the marked one. And now this is basically the prequel, not in the same universe as the original Paranormal Activity movies, because 5 comes out next year. I didn't understand this movie at all. This movie just bothered me. I mean, this movie was boring. I'm talking about boring. I went to see this movie, I'm like, okay, this is not even as scary as the other ones. Even the other ones had moments where it was like, okay, that's cool, that was cool, that was funny, that was hot, that was cool. But this movie from beginning to end, I mean, I had problems with all the Paranormal Activities, especially with the endings, but this was just horrible. I'm giving this movie a 0, period. This is just a 0. I did not understand it here. Number 5, a movie I wanted to see, and I thought it was going to be great because The original one was the best, and it still is the best. Dumb and Dumber 2. Now, I love Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey is a great actor. So is Jeff Daniels. And I don't know what happened with this movie. This movie just fell apart. I mean, the jokes weren't the same. I mean, of course, they're not going to be the same one because of the sequel. But then it felt like, oh, you're going to remember this forever. You're going to remember all these lines. Like in the original movie, you can remember all their lines. And this movie was just, okay, let's just make this movie for the fans and let's be done with it. Get us a paycheck and let's be done. I didn't like this movie. I'm going to give it a 5 because it's so Dumb and Dumber. But yeah, it's just a 5. It was a bad comedy. It wasn't even that funny. Number 4, oh my god, talking about movies that were really bad. Into the Storm. Now this movie was mixture of, cam people courting with their film, behind the film. Like Chronicle, that's a good movie, but this movie was just bad. It was just like a mixture of Cloverfield meets Twister, but Twister's a better movie. Twister would beat this in a heartbeat. Twister will come into the town with this storm coming in. Twister will still win because Twister is a real Twister movie. I mean, that movie has real storms. This movie was just boring. Another boring movie. I didn't understand this movie. The acting was lame. The story plot was boring. It was so predictable. Like you know what was gonna happen. Oh, and I know that was gonna die. Yep, I know that was gonna happen. I saw that coming. That was no surprises in this movie. I saw this movie and I was like, okay, what is up with these movies? This movie was just bad. I'm giving this movie a 2. Just forget about that. Into the Storm. 3 is a movie that I thought was going to be funny because the creator of Family Guy was behind it. A Million Ways to Die in the West. It was supposed to be a spaghetti western movie with comedy, and it was just stupid. It reminded me of a Scary Movie. I know you don't want to talk about this movie. This movie was just bad. I mean, Seth MacFarlane, shame on you. Shame on you. You better make sure Ted comes out next year and be hilarious because this was just bad. You're supposed to be the creator of Family Guy. That's a great show. And you make this bad. Nope. Sorry. That's number 2. Number 3. Sorry. Excuse me. Number 2. Transcendent. Transcendent was a movie about Johnny Depp playing this genius who gets killed. And his brain has to be survived. And I like Johnny Depp a lot. I don't care if he plays some kooky character or makeup. Thought The Lone Ranger was one of my favorite movies of last year. But the way he even I have to admit, he should not mix his drama acting with his goofy acting because that just made a mess of it. I couldn't understand. I couldn't even defend him because Johnny Depp was so good. I will always defend him in any movie he makes against anybody. But in this movie, sorry Johnny, I have to say, man, kind of messed up on this one big time. I just found this movie boring. The trailer looked cool, but nah, sorry, couldn't do it. Made the cut. Sorry, you made the top 2 worst movies of all. Number 1, and like I said, before I say number 1, this movie was I made a kind of a good grade to it, but I watched it again, and I have to take back what I said, and I apologize if anybody got confused of what I gave it before when I first reviewed this movie. And I just want to apologize. I'm not going to do that again, ever, for another movie. Because now I've learned my lesson. Never to trust this kind of movie ever again. Number 1. Wait for it. Transformers 4. You're kidding me, right? You're kidding me. Transformers 4 has got to be the worst movie ever. I like Michael Bay. He's awesome. The first 2 Transformers are awesome. The Rock, awesome. Armageddon, cool movie. This, This and number 3 were the worst. I'm tired of him getting girl actors. No offense to them, especially one with number 3 who was a model, and you bringing her in this, and she couldn't even act her way into anything. This one, the girl in this movie, even though she had some acting, she still needed to go back to acting school because this movie was just horrible. I'm sorry. Like I said, I gave this movie an 8. I don't know what I was drinking. I must have been drinking Kool-Aid or something. I don't understand why I gave this movie an 8. I watched it again. I'm sorry. This movie is just horrible. Stop with the humans. Just give us Transformers. Just Optimus, Bumblebee, Megatron. That's all I want. We only need those. We don't need humans anymore. Stop with the humans. Come on, Michael Bay. If you're going to keep doing this, Teach All the Humans, Mark Wahlberg is coming back, supposedly. I mean, that's not been confirmed yet, but he's coming back in the next 3 movies or whatever it's going to be. And I really hope Michael Bay just not makes the other ones, because he's probably going to just mess it up again. I mean, of course, this movie is not for the Oscar, or it does have a chance to win the worst movie of the year, which probably is going to win for the Razzie, but, that's that. But for some people, for some reason, this movie makes $1 gajillion. But in story-wise, this movie just gives me a headache. I can't stand this movie. I think I'm done with Transformers now, because I kind of want a reboot now. Yeah, I actually want a reboot of Transformers already, because honestly, Michael Bay is just killing it. Okay, there's a reason we haven't got G.I. Joe 3 yet, because people knew that 2 was bad and so was 1. And now Transformers 5 is coming out. Even if you put Unicron in it, I don't think it can save it. If you don't know who Unicron is, Unicron is basically the king of all the Transformers, Megatrons and the Decepticons and the Megatrons. He's basically the king of all of them. So even if they bring him in, I don't know how that's going to save it. Dinobot's going to save this movie. You make a Beast Wars movie, I don't think this is going to save this movie. But, I mean, it'll still make money, it'll make a lot of toys, but honestly, I cannot understand this movie. So, like I said, my top 10 worst films of 2014. Start at number 10 again is Dracula Untold. Number 9, Ouija. Number 8, The Legend of Hercules. Number 7, I, Frankenstein. Number 6, Paranormal Activity, the marked one. 5, Dumb and Dumber 2. 4, Into the Storm. 3, A Million Ways to Die in the West. 2, Transcendence. And number 1, Transformers 4. So, let me know what you think of what movies are worst to you, because I'm pretty sure you have your top 10 worst, or 5 or whatever, and that's your opinion. If you even like any of the movies that I picked, that's your opinion, but this is just my personal opinions. I know there's people out there who are probably going to tell me I'm crazy because I put Transformers in there, but you know what, I don't care, whatever. The movie's horrible, I'm sorry, but you know what, let's see what happens in 2015. And stay tuned for my review for my top 10 most anticipated movies of 2015, coming at 12 o'clock New Year's Eve. That's 12 o'clock New Year's Eve. So I will be on here 12 o'clock midnight, New Year's Eve, January 1st, midnight, to review my top 10 2015 movies of next year, which I cannot wait. It's going to be a good year. So until then, the doctor's in and out. Thank you very much, and have a happy holidays.